Pick my room stuff.
Right. Right.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of What a Week, the live show where we look at the things what's happening this week in the world, what affect us, everybody, but most importantly, we speak it from a black perspective, don't it? So my name is Mr. C, and with me is my co-host, the man himself, Mr. Knowledgeable, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Crossbody.
Evening, everyone. I'm here. How you doing, sir?
Everything's good. Boss, how's everything with yourself?
Brother, you see the nights are drawing in now. Yeah, it's starting to get dark earlier. The winter's on the way. Oh. And the government is giving us nothing but bad news, talking about a dark winter. Oh,
listen, very much. It's Game of Thrones live, my brother. I'm telling you, man. The Snow King is coming. The Snow King, I don't know whether it's Boris or whether it's Trump, but they're coming. And listen, they're coming for Tekwe.
I see Boris give his speech. He had his hand like this, and I tell you, you got to, and we must get it. And when you see that, I just thought, oh,
yeah. Boris is not a happy bunny, boy. He's not, man. He's not. But you know what? Good, yeah. Because all the trials and tribulation that we've been through, you need to feel some pressure. You need to feel some pressure, Boris, and hopefully, it'll make you feel ill, Boris. And you will stand, down, and somebody competent will take your place, man. So,
didn't he say that he had the COVID himself a few months ago, and then next week he was right as rain? Right.
Thank you.
All the man was just in his yard chilling, and the Prime Minister's not well. He's been tested for COVID. Like all these Hollywood superstars who come on YouTube. We got the COVID. I've been diagnosed. And next minute, big movie.
Listen, anyway, what we want to hear from yourselves. If you're watching, whether you're watching it on your 4D, HK TV or whatever it is, or if you're watching on your mobile or on your work tablet, make sure you join into the comments, into the comments as well. No, because you know some people abuse the work things, innit? Your work tablet is just for your work. It's not for your personal pleasure. But if you're getting free data, yeah, man. Why ban out your data? Use the work thing, yes.
Just now, before we came on here, we were talking, and I was saying to you how surprised I am that some of our viewers actually watch this program on the TV.
Yeah, listen, I had the shock, man.
I thought that people were just watching it on the phone, on YouTube or whatever. And I went to a friend of mine, and she had the program on the big TV, and I thought,
big screen, innit? You see every little blemish on your face, innit?
Mate.
Listen, man, trust me.
I got to do a whole redecoration in there because goodness knows what they can see when you got HD TV, brother.
Listen, you see so much detail in the HD TVs. I'm telling you, man. Seriously, Tony, I'm telling you, they can see our birth certificate.
Oh, no. Honestly,
they know exactly where we was born and when we was born.
I am very, very surprised. I really didn't know that people were watching this like they're watching a television program.
Yeah, man. But
and it's funny. You know what happened to me about last week over the weekend, right? We'll talk about it in a minute. No lie, brother. This is no lie. A man stopped me on the road. Hey, I see a big TV star now. I said, what? Man, he said to me, yeah, man, I see you on the show, man. You and the other brother. What's his name? I said, Mr. C. Yeah, Mr. C, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, go out with things. I'm like, oh, nice to tune in. I said, how do you find it? He said, yeah, I really enjoy it.
Oh, that's
good. Another lady said to me, it's my favorite show. So, like, wow, you never realize who's actually tuning in, right?
Well, listen, we thank everybody who tunes in, man. Seriously, the love is overwhelming, and the support. We can't do it without your support. So thank you, man.
Very much so, indeed. Yeah.
We had lots of comments about mine and Tony's shirts last week. You know, the postman is still bringing more fan mail, so we've toned it down slightly this week.
Let's say good evening to Lola Williams. Hello, Lola. How you doing?
Big up, Lola. Lola's watching on the TV.
Oh no! Oh boy! I tell
Thank
you,
you, Lola. Did you know, Lola? We're watching you too. Go put that on clothes, woman.
She has a smart TV, so we can see her.
Yeah. But that's the beauty of modern technology and these smart TVs is that, you know, for so many years they've denied us access to our people in their front rooms, but here we are now during lockdown using technology, which is allowing us to stream directly into people's front rooms and on their television. So you know what? God always finds a way. The universe always finds a way to make sure we can get to our people.
Yeah, man. Amen.
Yeah, man. We have to say thank you. So talking about our people, I mean, it's not just our people who have been protesting this week. There's been big things was going on at Trafalgar Square. Let's have a look at this. You can't beat the English, mate. Listen.
The great British public, man. I love him, man. I love him. And you know what? I mean, there was just a demonstration in March last week, right? Now we just had again this weekend. Mr. C, what do you think is going on with that?
Listen, I think people have had enough. Tony is like people have, you know, there's a large section who are absolutely woken up to this whole scammademic. You know, they've done the maths, like myself and yourself and loads of viewers who watch this program, and you know, we all know that something doesn't add up, something's not right, and each step that they try to take away our freedom, our liberties, our you know, the rights, our own rights to say whether we want something or not, or we want to wear something or not, are being taken away from us, and people are said, yeah, let's rally around and let's say something. And you know, the British are very good at moaning. They're the champions in the world at moaning. And you know what? What you got to love about the Brits when they moan is that, listen, all other people will just protest and moan. Only the Brits will take it and make song and start chanting. And we just want to say, if there's any children watching, please, I just want you to understand, when they were saying you can stick the vaccine up your ass, they're talking about donkeys. That's what they're talking about. You take the vaccine and stick it up your donkey is what they're actually saying. So just needs to clear that up, just in case there's any family viewers here. And we don't want mum and dad having to try and explain exactly where an ass is. Yes.
Right.
So it's like Shrek, donkey and Shrek. That's an ass. Yeah.
You know, but it is quite interesting. There's a growing momentum of disenchanted citizens of this country who realize that something is up, right? And you know, they want to make their voice heard. And apparently, police didn't take too kindly to that crowd, because apparently afterwards they stormed a few, beat a few around the head with truncheons and stuff like that. And there were a lot of complaints about the police handling of the situation. But what it shows is that we're increasingly becoming our government is becoming increasingly authoritarian.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So while they've not yet banned protesting, what they want to do is severely limit it. And when it does carry on, they want the police in there involved, intimidating protesters, so that they're going to give up. But you know, the girl British public, now they've got that bulldog spirit, and they've got the bit between the teeth. I think David Icke was down there, and a number of other.
Yep. His son made a big speech as well. I heard it was very, very moving. David Icke's son, Gareth, I do believe his name is. He had a a wonderful speech. Alison says, Antiguan Alison says, Scandemic love it. Yes, they are taking liberties with our liberties. Yeah,
Right.
100%.
Right. Yes, Alison, you're right. And they're taking liberties with our enjoyment, our good time, our rave. We can't go nowhere. Stay inside.
Well, you know, it's a joke, and I've heard as well that they're going to try and make these protests illegal as well. You know, how does that work, Tony? Because I think in a democratic society, you have the right to protest, don't you? No.
Well, that's enshrined in law. However, there's been laws passed already that normally would pass through Parliament but have not.
Right, because is Parliament still suspended technically?
Well, evidently, right. But laws are being passed without just by bypassing them. So laws are coming into effect that's going to basically affect our, you know, our liberties and what we're able to do and not to do. Who's this lovely lady on the screen? We don't want you.
Well, listen, you know what? We'll come to that lovely lady in the screen in a little while, because that next subject is something which is very dear to my heart, and you know, I definitely want to have a conversation with the ladies that are watching as regards to that particular subject. But yeah, as you said, Tony, the laws that are being passed at the moment are, you know, it's unheard of. It's never been seen before. They seem to be just rushed through without any kind of concern as regards to the impact on society. What do our viewers think as regards to some of these new laws? Some of these new coronavirus laws? Are you compliant? Are you concerned, or are you confused? Let us know. What a week! Live TV show. It's your discussion as much as it is ours. Let us know what you feel. Drop us some comments. YouTube, Facebook.
Yeah. And actually, please share the link too. Share it with your friends if you're enjoying the show.
Okay. Just come through from Alison. She says, I've seen another law that I wasn't aware of, that we're not able to dance or sing in hospitality establishments, and the music needs to be limited to what the heck? Oh my gosh. So what they're trying to do now, they're trying to turn black people into white people.
It's the master plan.
That's what this law is.
The master plan. And you know, the thing about it, right, is do you remember when this thing first kicked off, and we were talking about it, and there was a consensus that this would be a short-lived thing. You know, 3 months in the summer, then it will be lifted, and then we'll all be back to normal. And what you're seeing now is that trajectory of promises of things being lifted but never delivered. As soon as we get to that end point where things have to be reviewed, oh dear, the figures have gone up again. We've got to go back into a lockdown. Now, instead of reviewing things in 30 days' time, we're now going into 6 months of review, right? So that means now, from October through to April, right? When Boris speaks to us again about this, what's going to happen then? Do you think that they're going to sort of just say, oh, well, now it's all over. We're glad everybody, you know, everybody sort of obeyed the law and we can go back to normal? No.
No way. Because
there are always scapegoats. There are always people around who gather together. And because of them, whoever they are, you know, this is spreading. And this seems to be going on and on. And last week we talked about how Boris said he's thinking about bringing the army out, right, as a backup to the police. So,
well, yeah, if he brings the army out, then that's where I think it's gonna get really, really, really worrying once the army's out, because you know there's some hard-headed people out there, and you know, I think for certain sections of society or certain cultures, once the army's on the streets, we're not gonna mess with them. But there's certain other societies, you know, where they I know my rights. I know my rights. They'll put down your gun and yeah, I think some of them are going to get some rifle butt in their forehead, and it's going to be peak, man. It's going to be peak.
Yeah.
But, you know, yeah. But we shall watch and see what happens.
Yeah.
Moving on. Now talking about we'll see what happens. I came across a very interesting post this week, and Tony, as well, you brought this to my attention. I wasn't quite sure why you brought this to my attention at first, Tony. I thought to myself, are you trying to tell me something? Are you trying to tell me something? But you know what? Us men are always on about women and their weaves. But let's have a look at this. This is different. We've got a little bit of a problem here, ladies and gentlemen. Not to worry. What that video was basically a news report as regards to a shop in South London, a barber shop in South London, which are now doing a very special service where they are now doing what is known as man weaves. So before, as a man, you go to your barber, you say to him, shoot back and sides, please. You know, give me a skin fade, you know, or take it all off. Those were the options what we had as men. Yeah. Now men can add an extra little item to that list, such as, can we get a lace front? Oh, Father. So men are now sitting down in the barber shop and they're getting weaves glued to their head in various different styles. Some of them, I mean, Tony, when you saw the video, was you impressed? What came to your mind?
I must admit, I was shocked. The end results look good. They look good. But what really shocked me is, of course, now for men, you know, we've been sort of saying, you know, and moaning about women wearing weaves, and now we've sort of gone down that road. I mean, I don't know what to make of it, bro. I mean, you know, we've been many of us who've lost our hair have been so used to being bald over the years.
Definitely.
Somehow there seems to be a new generation of men that, you know, they're taking vanity to a new level.
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, but it's difficult. Imagine now, as a man, yeah, you start losing your hair at an early age. Me and Prince William have had this discussion many a time. You start losing your hair at an early age, and you think to yourself, you know what? I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to go with the Kojak, the Samuel Jackson, the Jason Statham route. I'm going to embrace my baldness and let it be a feature of my manliness. But then what happens is, as you date, you see one woman come in, she got on weave. You see her mother got on weave, her grandmother got on weave. Yes, and you're thinking to yourself, well, you know what? Oh, here we go. Let's have a look.
Wigs cool, and their focus is on young black men. Dougal Shaw went to find out more.
These two men are worried about hair loss. So they've come to a small business in a South London industrial estate to try a technique that's proved popular in America. Sometimes known as man weaves, this involves attaching natural hair to the head using adhesives before a specially trained barber blends it in. Stefan is an influencer and model. He's known as the UK's most right-swiped man on Tinder.
I can't believe it. Like a new man.
So if you meet someone on Tinder now, are you going to tell them you've had this done, or are you
not at all? Just tell them I've grown it out. Okay. We sorted.
Who are you most excited to show it to?
My missus, actually.
This business thinks it has found a gap in the market by focusing on fashion-conscious young black men who don't want to spend thousands on transplant surgery, which is also harder for Afro-Caribbean hair, but will pay for a monthly subscription service to keep their new hairstyles looking sharp.
In black culture, style has always been a thing that's really important to us, and we care about how we look, we care about how we present ourselves. So hair loss is viewed with some stigma.
However, some feel this new trend is a bit ironic, since men have created a lot of stigma around female wigs.
There's so many memes and there's so many videos that they say, like, oh, women are so fake, just take them swimming on the first date and you'll see what they really look like. And now it's so ironic because these are all guys that are making these jokes. They're now wearing wigs just like us.
So what do you think your female friends would say to this?
I think a lot of females would be like, no, that's like not on.
The men I met were very pleased with their new looks, but women will have a big say too on whether this trend takes off.
Well, what a thing. What a thing. We've got some interesting comments in there. Tony, pick one, please. We've got some interesting comments, man.
look at Alison. Alison said, will you try it and show us the results next week?
Sure. Most of our women have gone that way. Now feminism, the black man.
You know what?
Thank you very much, Rosalind.
If I ever see you on the road, I'm going to give you a kiss for that, because that is so deep, right? We don't really appreciate what she's really saying there.
Yeah.
That, feminism has feminized a lot of black men. So they're now copying the women in their styles. And why? Because ultimately it's a thing of vanity. Now we know that women like to beautify themselves and make themselves look good and be the best. They tended to do that. But now that men are doing it and following the women, right? They're now being feminized. And as I said, look at that generation of men. They look like what, late 20s, early 30s, right? How's that good for black manhood?
Well, it's a very good question. But we have to face some truths. Did the men look better after than before?
Yes.
A lot of them look younger. And you could see their face was full of vibrance. So who are we to deny somebody that happiness? And again, I mean, it makes perfect sense of economies. For me, it's now, instead of you go to your barber shop, she go to her dressers, the two of you can sit down in the same chair together. Just glue this one, glue that one.
Right. And I thought that it was a one-off payment. You paid for it, you had it done. But no, it's a monthly subscription.
Yeah, because we've got to maintain it. You've got to maintain it. Otherwise, yeah, come on. But the thing is now, are we going to be seeing black men in the dance doing this?
Don't forget the noise. I went on a date with a lady once, and that's what she had to do.
No, Tony, no.
But I had to sit there, and I was like, I thought I was in the Twilight Zone.
I have to ask you the question, though.
Now we got both men and women like this.
No, Tony, I have to ask you the question. So, did you go to date number 2 with the same woman?
No, I didn't. No.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Oh, Paulette says Afro weaves to hide the baldness, and sorry, I can't see the other comment. And now lock weaves as well. Yeah, lock weaves as well. Oh man. Yep, lock weaves. Leon Morgan also, thank you very much for your comment. Leon says, I was lucky Mike Jordan made it fashionable to be bald. God bless. Back in the day, just embrace the baldness, man. Embrace it. Yeah, we are modern day Yul Brenners.
Good evening, Leon. Yes, brother, you made that's a good point. He made, I think it was him and R. Kelly that made that whole baldness thing very sexy.
Kelly,
they really made that fashionable, and it still looks good. So I don't understand why these guys, well, I mean, it's a personal decision, but like I said, it's now embracing and copying what women do. So
of course, I mean that's why we've got men now wearing skinny jeans. I mean, I've got a few skinny trousers in my closet now, but not skinny jeans, mind you, but I got a few skinny trousers, which, if you said to me 7 years ago, see, would you, I'd look at you as though you was mad. But when you got legs like mine, you can get away with it.
and it's funny, that's another thing again. You see, you've got a lot of brothers like in their 40s and 50s wearing these skinny jeans, brother.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. And
some of them, and they got slim legs, big belly, right?
That's where it don't look good.
Looking like a walking walrus.
Yeah,
right?
It don't look good if you're a man in your 40s and 50s and you've got on skinny jeans and from the side you can't tell which bit is the belly, which bit is the batty, because they're both hanging over the jeans like this. No, it don't look good. It don't look good. It don't look good.
And this trend is only going to get worse. This is just the beginning. Obviously, those guys are going to master that thing, master that style, make it more effective, more convincing. They're going to get better glue. So obviously, when those guys are being romantic with their lady, it won't kind of slip off in their hand. And there's going to be a huge demand. I can see that. Whoever created that, man, he's onto a winner.
I think it's going to be popular. But the question I want to ask the ladies watching, if you was dating a man and in 2 weeks, everything is fine, everything's crisp, not say 2 weeks, 2 months into the relationship, he says to you, I need to let you know something. and he's wearing a weave. What are you going to do, ladies? Where do you stand? Ladies, this is what I need to know. I need to know, where do the ladies stand with this? Are you going to allow your man to wear a weave or not? Yes or no, ladies?
Yeah.
And give us your reasons why. Get typing away, because this is what we want to find out. Good evening, Denise. Have you got any thoughts on this, Denise? Would you allow your man to be man weaving?
Man weaving. The man say, I got the receipt, that's my hair.
Antigua Allison says, I'd hope I'd noticed way before he mentions it. But listen, how would you know? Because it's not a kind of thing. It's like men have a desire to run our fingers through women's hair. Women don't have that desire for men. How would you know if your man's wearing a weave? Paulette, well done, Paulette. Paulette says, if he was wearing a weave, I wouldn't mind. Thank you for your honesty, Paulette.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, because I would like to see the reactions of a woman when, you know, you go to a man's house for the first time. You know, he's been to your house a few times, and you've already let's say cemented the relationship, because there might be children watching. You've already cemented the relationship. So now you go to his house for the very first time, and you know, you go, both of you go to the bathroom to freshen up, blah blah blah. You come and then you take off yours and get ready to put on your scarf, and the next thing you know, him take off his and put his on dolly head too. Are you still gonna feel the same for this man? Yeah? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. This debate is not over.
This story is going to come back. I'm telling you, as the reports start coming in, hopefully we'll get some video footage of women's reactions to that. It looks pretty, well, from here anyway, it looked pretty convincing. But you know, the proof is in the pudding.
Proof is definitely in the pudding. I think one way, one of I just had a message to my phone. One of the ladies has said that it's deception. Men should not be wearing weaves. And she's so outraged. She reckons there should be a track and trace app for men who wear weave. So that women could have early detection notice.
Excellent. Yes. Yeah.
Denise admits to sometimes wearing a wig. Well done, Denise. You're too bad. You're too bad. What's this one, Tony? Sorry.
Karen said, "Nah, a man can't have more wig than me." You're right.
Oh
gosh.
Yeah. Alison says, can't take off the weave, so he isn't putting anything on Dolly. But we would be wrapping up our hair at the same time.
Or wrapping it in a scarf and thing.
Oh my gosh, oh my days. Yeah, that's so true. If it's a good weave, you may not know. But anyway, talking about track and trace, obviously not of weaves, man weaves, as oh father, let me catch my breath. Black Lives Matter. I can't breathe. Track and trace, listen, track and trace is in the news because NHS has finally pulled their finger out and got their latest track and trace app ready. These were the headlines what we saw. However, as regards to the police were told not to download the NHS COVID-19 app. So I think all in all, there's been around about 6 million people who've downloaded the app. Tony, are you one of the 6 million?
I got the text yesterday on my phone.
You?
Yeah, they text me on my phone. Obviously, it goes through your doctor's surgery, innit? And so they text you on your phone. They instruct you to go and download the COVID app for track and trace. But as we just saw there, somehow COVID are scared of the police. So the police don't need to do that because somehow they're immune from COVID.
Well, I think just to be fair to the police forces, the reason being is cited. One of the reasons cited is because there may be some undercover operations going on, with the police force, usually with one of their colleagues' wives, and and what it is, the track and trace may expose some of those undercover operations or cause a threat to those undercover operations. However, I'm sure they were saying that this track and trace, you're supposed to be anonymous.
Right.
So if you're anonymous,
right,
how does it affect? So somewhere there's something not quite right going on here.
Right. And the thing is, it's not even talking about undercover officers being exempt. I mean, it's like, you know, this report here is large scale, and it's telling police officers, do not download the app onto your personal phone if you feel that you have any symptoms. They have their own number that they're to call. But what interests me, that ties into you know, this next one, which involves the MPs, right? So just if we can throw up the next slide. Here's something. So the police basically don't have to download a COVID app, and while we have to have our bars and pubs close at 10 o'clock, what initially happened here is that the bar in Parliament, right, did not have that restriction, and apparently the Times newspaper exposed that, and the government were forced to do a backtrack where they said, oh well, now we're not going to serve drinks after 10. So what's happening here? And we're supposed to be doing this together, right? And if the government weren't caught out doing that, they wouldn't have actually changed that ruling. So it tells you where their emphasis is. It's on the public, right? But as far as the rulers are concerned, no, they're exempt. That's the impression that we get.
Right, and these are our MPs. So Boris wanted to make sure that he could get a drink at work, clean after 10. But yet for us, and the worst thing about it is that I also saw a report that the first day of the 10 p.m. lockdown rule, Oxford Street was turned into gridlock because everybody's from the bars, the restaurants, the pubs were all leaving at 10 o'clock and going home at the same time. So now we have rush hour at 10 p.m. So we have more congestion, more risks, more likelihood of the infection spreading on the tube or the train network or the public transport system. They have not thought this thing through.
Or have they? You see what I'm saying? Because you see, while we were asleep concentrating on COVID, they've gone throughout the boroughs, closed off certain roads, pushed traffic onto the main roads, created more congestion, increased the congestion charge, right? Install their 5G, right? Tell you about track and trace. You know when something is serious is when they paint stuff into the ground, when they paint instructions on the ground and put it on street furniture. You know that is there for a long term.
Yeah.
So when you see drawings on the ground of a man and two arrows next to him saying social distance 2 meters, this is not going to be a short trip.
Yeah.
And so, go on.
No, Alison is saying she noticed on Friday that the traffic was ram after 10 p.m. It was crazy.
There you go. So yeah, you're right, Mr. C. So putting everybody on the street at 10 o'clock, by the time they all got home, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, what you wonder what effect that's going to have. People are going to say, you know, I can't be bothered with all of this.
I think the word herd immunity, is that the technical term that was? Well, remember, because Boris was saying at the beginning of this whole coronavirus that he was going to use the herd. Oh, I forgot the terminology. He wanted everybody to catch it at the same time. Right. And then they explained that it would put a strain on the NHS if they did that. The herd mentality, I think it's called. So it seems like this could be the so-called second wave could be them trying to do this. Possibly.
So you mean creating large gatherings, you know, by means of having people all out at the same time, making their way home on public transport, gridlocking the roads.
Yep.
Yeah.
Forcing people to come together in areas where, because again, you know, if you can't meet, you know, let's think about it. And this is where we say, this is where, you know, for us as people with common sense, we say something doesn't make sense. So if you've got a birthday coming up, and you said, you know what, there's a virus going around. What I want to do, I want to invite my nearest and dearest in the comfort of my own home to celebrate my birthday. Law says you can't have no more than 6 people. So where are you going to go next? You're going to be forced to go to a bar or a restaurant or a pub where you can have more people. So instead of being in the safety of your own house or, you know, hiring your own space, you're now going to take it outside. And you're going to be mixing with other people who you wouldn't normally have mixed with. You see?
Yeah, it's all very strange. Alison says that she doesn't understand why the laws are different in England, Scotland, and Wales, because in some places, basically Scotland has 11:30 closing, Wales has 10 o'clock, but need to vacate no later than 10:15. It's all so confusing. Yes, Alison, it is.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're supposed to be confused.
Definitely. Leon says the reason the police don't download it, I reckon it's because half will come into the contact with someone near as they do their duties, so they will be constantly taking 7 days off. Very good point. Very good point. Yep.
All right. Well, yeah, you can't say much more about that.
Definitely.
Can't really add to that.
So people, have you downloaded the NHS tracker? Are you one of the 6 million who have downloaded it? If you have, what did it ask you to do? What information did it require from you? And what kind of updates have they been sending you? Let us know. Drop your lines, drop your comments. Or again, if you're like myself and Tony, have you decided not to download it? And we're thinking of, are there strategies that we can use, possible strategies we can use to kind of
go around it?
Go around it. Around it, you know?
So let's take the time, and we probably got probably a history thing to do after this. And
yeah, definitely. Yeah. So look, introduce the next subject, please, Tony.
Okay, so we're at the cusp of Black History Month, right? So Black History Month is a time when we've been given permission to have our gripes about our history and all the evil things that have been done to us, right? And we can speak freely until the 31st of October. So throughout this month, towards the end of the show, I will just be presenting a very short discussion of some historical facts that you might find very, very interesting.
Fantastic.
So if we put the first picture up, I want to ask the viewers, who is this character? Type in the chat box, please, and let us know who this character is. Have you ever seen him before? Maybe you saw him down Dalston.
Who is that character? Obviously, one of the very first men to wear bling.
Indeed. Throw it back up, please. Throw it back up, please, sir. Put it back up on the screen. Let the viewers see it. Who is this character?
Any comments?
Alison says Henry VIII. Well, Alison, you are absolutely wrong. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not Henry VIII.
Hold on. Put the picture back up again. That is not Henry VIII.
That is not Henry VIII.
Oh, what him?
Right?
Okay. You got me intrigued now.
It is a picture that purports to be Henry VIII. This is someone, right, who is. Let me throw the next picture. Well, hold on a second. Before we throw the next picture, let me explain something very, very quickly. All monarchs and kings, in other words, and queens, had their personal portrait painter. In other words, it was the equivalent of having your own photographer, right?
All right.
So the photographer or painter of King Henry VIII was a man known as John Faber Jr. So if you see any pictures of King Henry VIII, they need to be authentic only by being painted by this man, John Faber Jr. So if you look at your screen now, you're actually looking at
A
One of
portrait.
the only paintings done by Mr. John Faber Jr., who painted Henry VIII as he saw him back.
Wow, wow, wow.
Next slide, please.
So hold on.
Yep.
So who was that guy then? This guy who we've always been.
We'll get to that. We'll get
All
to
right.
that.
Okay. Cool. All right. Next slide.
No. Sorry. No, there's a slide before that. No, there's a slide before that. You're going to go through all of them now, right? Okay. No. Before that. Go back one. Okay. So here's a picture. Now this picture is of Henry VIII on the History Channel, right? Now look at that picture very, very closely.
Yeah, he looked like that looked like a black man.
Right. Let's slide to the next picture so you can get an even closer look. Let's go to the next picture. Right, there you go. This is actually an authentic picture of King Henry VIII. Now, did he look like the very first picture of that white man that we saw?
No, not at all. This looked like, this looked like one of them man that I see in Oasis one time who had a little bit of kind of ginger and kind of air.
Now, just to make things even more intriguing, let's move on to the next picture, right? And this is Henry VIII when he was a child.
No, shut up, man. Stop this.
Right? Look at the hair. Right? This is Henry VIII when he was a child.
You sure this is Prince Henry and not Princess Henrietta?
No, this is the actual prince that became King Henry VIII. Right? Let's move forward a little bit more, please. Next slide. Now here is a picture. If you look on the very left is King Henry VIII again, right? Now King Henry VIII was the second of 3 children. He wasn't actually meant to be king. The gentleman in the middle is his older brother, right? And his name was Arthur. Now, but Arthur was he's said to have been a very sickly prince and died at a young age, and that is what caused Henry VIII to come to the throne.
Oh, come on, you couldn't have King Arthur. There's only one King Arthur, man. You can't have another King Arthur.
Right, but he was named after the original King Arthur, you see. And there you see on the right-hand side is his younger sister. Her name was Princess Margaret. Next slide.
What a thing.
Next slide.
You're really giving us some history now.
Yes, right, sorry, that's it. So the point being here, right, is that we've had an indoctrination where we have been led to believe that, black people have not really contributed anything in this country to this, right? And yet, here we have official portraits, right, and official paintings, right, of a somewhat black-looking King Henry.
Well, listen, Antigua and Allison says, no wonder he liked to kill people. He had a messed up childhood. He had issues with his own head, so he chop off other people's.
Now, that's a very interesting point, Alison, and we'll get, there's something very interesting about all this and why I'm actually even bringing this up for Black History Month, right? So, and I showed all those pictures to try and prove to you that we don't just look at one picture and say, oh, he's black. Because you know how we say something, yeah, man, everybody black, and you just got one picture, which is questionable.
Yeah,
but when you look at
women.
His childhood, you look at his childhood, you see his brother, right? You get to understand that he's not the white character that we have been taught. Now, here's something really interesting for all you people who ever lived in Hackney, right? All you Hackneyites.
No.
Let me tell you, if you know can anybody tell me what is the name of that road or the street that's between Dalston Junction, right? Dalston Junction and Ridley Road. What is that main road called? Does anybody know?
Dalston Junction and Ridley Road, people.
Ridley Road. What is that main road called?
Only one road is coming to my mind, which is
on a postcard, please.
Which is Mere Street, but
right. Okay, let me put you out your misery. It's Kingsland Road.
Kingsland Road. That's correct. Yeah. That's right. Dalston,
Now listen
Kingston.
to me.
Yeah.
Kingston, right? Now listen to me when I tell you when I say the road, the name of the road again. Kingsland Road. Kingsland Road. Kingsland Road. Why is it called Kingsland Road? This is connected. This is connected to Henry VIII.
So are we trying to say that King Henry VIII had owned that road in Hackney?
Let me explain.
Is that where his baby mother used to live?
Right. Let me explain. Kingsland Road, right? That whole area, right? Centuries ago was nothing but woodland and marshland, right?
Right.
It was the personal hunting grounds of King Henry VIII.
Wow.
So when his brethren them used to come, when diplomats used to come, when visitors used to come, he used to take them there to go hunting.
Right. And what exactly was he hunting for? Patty?
Boar and fox and that's what they do, right?
Wow.
Now, the reason why I know this is I did a historian's tour of the area, right? And
learn with today, Tony boy. Wow.
I was shocked. Now, to prove what I'm saying is true, because I think if you go online, you're probably going to find it very difficult to prove because there's probably no references to it. But let me give you the names of some of the surrounding roads, right, to Kingsland Road. And I will tell you who they're named after, right? So let me just get my little notes here. So you have a road called Wolsey Road, Wolsey, Wolsey Road, right?
Thomas Wolsey.
NV1. That road. Well, right, Wolsey Road is named after Cardinal Thomas Wolsey. Right? You've got Howard Road, N16. Howard Road is named after the Duke of Norfolk, named Thomas Howard.
Wow.
You've got Boleyn Road, Boleyn, N16. Right? And Boleyn, right? One of his galleons, yeah? That's N16.
My man say, cause me love, baby love. Look, wait one. Child, take this road.
And interestingly, those of you who went to school in Hackney, right, would recognize this. The Archbishop of York, right, at the time that Henry was ruling, is a man named Cardinal Reginald Pole. So for those of you who know of Cardinal Pole School, Cardinal Pole was the Archbishop of York at the time that King Henry VIII reigned.
Wow.
So what I'm trying to share with you, right, is that when you think that your dad or granddad was the first black man to walk up Ridley Road, 500 years before him, a big black bossy black man with all heap of girl, right, and all heap of money was roaming these areas, right? And we didn't know that because, of course, this is not what we're taught in school.
Yeah. So, boy, King Henry VIII was saying, you see all of this? This is my oasis.
That was his oasis, right? So Alison says that she went to Cardinal Pole. Well done, I went there too.
Wow.
So
you've got Victoria Park in Hackney as well, which Victoria.
Right. But again, this area was quite famous with monarchs, right? From King Henry VIII onwards. I mean, as the weeks go on, I'll go into a bit more detail about the black involvement, right, and what these monarchs actually did. But I wanted to share something that perhaps, we will never be taught, right? And I think people would find that quite interesting because we've been so indoctrinated, right? Because paintings, right, are the modern day television, right? They didn't have TV in their days, but they had paintings. Paintings gave them a view of the world. And what happened is that there were many paintings done of King Henry VIII, right? After he had passed away, they lightened it up. As we'll talk about this a bit more in a few weeks' time about the idea of propaganda. They lightened the painting up, and that painting that we threw up earlier is actually is authorized, right?
Mhm.
So it's original. It's not a fake. It's not like the first one I put up, which is one of a number of pictures that have been lightened of the king. John Faber Jr. was the portrait with the painter, and Dalston is where the man did Rome.
And listen, so for those of you living in East London, Hackneyites, as I'd like to call you, listen, it's important that you let your children know that, you know these things, so that when people want to talk rubbish about your area, let them know the truth. A king's land you walk pan. So hold up your heads as kings and queens and walk good when you're down Ridley Road Market. Yeah, they might not have pheasant hang up there. It might just be that is meat, or you might see little oxtail or cow foot. But back in the day, you had pheasant. So listen, be proud, man. Tony, man, that's amazing. You know, when I first saw the first picture, I was smug because I was like, oh, come on, I know this is King Henry VIII, man. Come on, you can't test me on this. But when you said it wasn't him, I had no idea where he was going, and I couldn't even dream that all of this knowledge was going to come and be shared with us today, man. So thank you so much. I'm looking forward to this every week now, Tony.
Yes, sir. I'll try my best.
I might bring a little bit of black knowledge as well. Well, I live northwest London, so there ain't
There's
no.
a lot up there. There's a lot up there.
We got a lot in the cemetery. We've got a lot of
Right.
famous people in Kensal Green Cemetery,
Right.
which happens to be the most expensive cemetery in the whole of the UK. Kensal Green Cemetery, which is across the road from me. So imagine now, if I dead now, I want to go across the road. Me can't go there because it's too expensive. We now have to go get married in Scotland.
But you know, it's all of that. It's all of that stuff. You know that you know, as the weeks go on, I want to talk about why these paintings were changed. Why were they lightened? You know, was it just because of being black? I want to talk about Thomas Cromwell, who smashed all the paintings and statues up and down Great Britain during the time, right, of revolution. When this country was when it was changing, right? I want to talk about the people of Ireland, Scotland, who they really were. So yeah, we'll be delving into those subjects in a few weeks.
Wonderful, man, wonderful. And again, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got some interesting facts and figures yourself as regards to Black history, please feel free to share it with us. This is equally your platform as it is myself and Tony. Wow, what can I say? So look, Black History Month is amongst us in a couple of days. Tony, is there any other places you're going to be sharing knowledge and dropping some wisdom?
In the next few weeks, as the dates are confirmed, I'll let everybody know, because I'll be giving a few sort of historical talks, talking about where we are as a people here in 2020 and where exactly are we going, and it just ties in from the history from the past, bringing us right up to date and into the future.
Okay. Well, look, next week I'm hoping to have a little snippet, if I can possibly get it, of we're speaking about Black history. Of next Tuesday will be the launch of a new Black quiz show on ITV. It runs for 4 weeks. It's called Sorry, I Didn't Know. I've mentioned it before. If you didn't know that, well, sorry, you didn't know, but you do now, because I've just told you. So I'm going to try and see if I can get an exclusive clip to play for you all next Tuesday. It is at 10:45 on ITV, and who knows, we may have a special guest next week to talk about it.
Hey.
Keep them peeled. Final thoughts, Tony?
Oh my goodness, if only you knew your history, Black people, your life would change.
I think my first revelation as regards to Black history, gosh, my first revelation of Black history is got to be about music. I think the first time I felt rebellious to other societies is I had an argument with my mother once, and it was because she was Seventh-day Adventist. and she was, which was very conservative church at that time. So in the church, they wouldn't even clap. If the pastor gave a tremendous speech or somebody sang a fantastic song, they would never clap. Or you can't clap in the house of the Lord. It's wrong. Oh no, this is a place of worship, not a place of entertainment. They wouldn't. So they would just, even if you did the wickedest, not wicked, but if you did the best, if you did a sermon which was even better than Jesus's 5 loaves and 3 fishes, they would just say, "Amen." That's it. That's the levels. So they had the choir, my mum's the elderly choir, and I've never heard so much cowbelling in my life. Shall we come by the river? And this was a time where I was hearing a lot of music, which was gospel music influence from America. So Andre Crouch, Tremaine Hawkins. It was beautiful, soulful gospel music. So what would happen? I'd play it in my bedroom, and then my mum would come knock on the door. "Me no want hear none of that music in my house." And I'd be like, "Mum, this is gospel music. It don't sound very gospelish to me. Me no want to hear it." And so I had to turn this music because it sounded so soulful and so full of our real culture that my mum found it offensive. And then one day I just had it out with her. I said to her, "You know what? You're a racist. You have been brainwashed to try and sing like Europeans. You see the music that you're listening to at church, yeah? All Handel's Messiah and all that. That's what the kings and queens used to dance to before. That was their dance hall music. That church music you're listening to now was white people's dance hall music. And that's why you're trying to sing. And because you lot culturally can't cut it, that's why it sounds like cats crying when you sing." And my mom looked at me, turned around, and went about her business. And from then on, I could play my Winans, my Andre Crouch, and everything else. I think she got the picture. And so for me, that was like when I kind of learned the difference between something which is culturally ours and something which culturally is not. So, and that was a big turning point for me in like trying to understand my culture and the truth as regards to who we are and what we do. And when you think about it, when it comes to singing, that is a gift from God for Black people.
And I think it probably at the end of the month, I'll probably touch into that. Why are we so gifted like that? Where does that talent actually come from?
Please do.
It's actually somewhere in the region of 2,500 years of history that's been brought up to date. Long before slavery. Slavery is purported to somehow be the be all and end all of our history, but of course there's a deeper history that goes way beyond that. So hopefully we'll be able to cover all of that, over the month of October.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, you know how we do it here on What a Week. It's gonna be deep, it's gonna be thoughtful, but it's gonna be absolutely entertaining and hilariously funny along the way as well, man. Listen, we couldn't have this platform without you. We value you, so please make sure those of you who are not subscribing already, why are we at far? Those of you who are not sharing, how selfish of you.
Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. Yeah, as long as sharing isn't Karen, because then that's cheating. Yeah. Well, we're gonna be here every Tuesday, same time, same place. What a week! I've been Mr. C,
and I'm Tony Crossbody. Good night.
Take care. God bless.